He's the first sound you hear in the Addams mansion. Not footsteps, not laughter, but a bell. And every time that bell rings, he appears. No hesitation, just that deep, haunting voice. You rang? From the beginning, Lurch has been the family's quietest presence and their most mysterious. In the 1964 Addams Family TV series, he's the towering butler played by Ted Cassidy, a 7-foot figure of stoic devotion. He rarely speaks unless spoken to, but when he does, his baritone seems to rattle the walls.
What did he want you to be?
A jockey.
Morticia rarely commands Lurch directly. She summons him from the very first episode of the show. In Season 1, Episode 1, she simply pulls the rope for the bell and Lurch materializes instantly, as if compelled by a supernatural bond. It's supposed to be comedic, but it almost seems ritualistic. The bell becomes a sigil of power, an invocation that brings him from wherever he waits in the shadows. Now, look at his physicality. Lurch is pale, slow-moving, and corpse-like, his features exaggerated to the edge of death. In both the 1960s show and the 1990s films, he's unmistakably modeled after Frankenstein's monster, the tall frame, drooping posture, vacant eyes, and hesitant speech. That wasn't accidental. Charles Addams himself confirmed that Lurch was a parody of Boris Karloff's Frankenstein, a man stitched together from tragedy, as Addams once described the look of his original cartoons. But what makes the Addams version fascinating is that the parody evolved into something deeper, a soul with dignity, trapped in eternal servitude. In Addams Family Values, there's a moment that perfectly captures this duality. When Fester returns home after years away, it's Lurch who greets him, not with joy, but with recognition, as if the years hadn't passed for him at all. Time moves around Lurch, not through him. He plays the organ, tends the graves, opens the door. Always waiting, always serving. He's less a butler, more a ghost fulfilling his unfinished service. Even Netflix's Wednesday keeps this idea alive. Their Lurch, played by George Bursea, drives the hearse-like family car, a literal death carriage, and speaks even less. He moves like a revenant, part chauffeur, part guardian spirit. In one episode, when he silently appears at Nevermore to retrieve Wednesday, there's no question of how he knew where she was. It's as though the family's bond calls him across miles. And that's the mystery. Why is Lurch always there, not as a person, but as a presence? Why does he seem to belong to the house itself, not the family? That's what we're about to explore. Because maybe, just maybe, Lurch isn't a servant at all. Maybe he's something the Addams family saved, or bound, long ago. So, if Lurch isn't just a servant, then what is he? Every version of the Addams family hints that Lurch's loyalty runs deeper than employment. It's bondage, a form of service that feels sacred or cursed. In the original 1964 TV series, Gomez often introduces Lurch as our faithful manservant, but the show never explains how he joined the family. In Episode 3, Fester's punctured romance, Morticia casually mentions that we couldn't manage without Lurch, implying he's always been there, as intrinsic to the mansion as the cobwebs and portraits. In Episode 25, Lurch and his harpsichord, we see his connection to the house become almost mystical. When his beloved harpsichord is taken away, the Addams mansion reacts. Portraits tilt, lights flicker, and the entire family scrambles to calm him, as though his grief ripples through the architecture itself. That moment reframes him. Lurch isn't in the Addams mansion. He's part of it. A presence bound to its mood, its walls, its pulse. And then there's the bell. Always that bell. He appears instantly, no matter where he is. That's not employment. That's summoning magic. Fast forward to the 1991 film, and we meet a different kind of Lurch. This version is quieter, more somber, and eerily omniscient. When Fester returns, or the man pretending to be Fester at first, Lurch is the first one to sense something's off. He doesn't confront him, but he watches. He knows. In one deleted scene from the 1991 production script, Lurch is described as the house's sentinel, immovable, eternal, protective. Even without dialogue, every gesture supports that. He carries bodies to the grave, opens doors before anyone knocks, and plays funeral hymns before anyone dies. Yes, it's service, but it's also memory. The films never reveal how old Lurch is, but his age seems inconsistent across adaptations, suggesting something uncanny. The Addams children grow up, the adults change faces, but Lurch, he never does. Now jump to Wednesday, where the show makes one subtle but chilling update. Their Lurch, played by George Bercia, is barely human. His skin is sunken and gray, his eyes hollow. In the pilot episode, he arrives driving the Addams family's funeral car, a hearse-like relic. And when he turns to greet Wednesday, his voice is low and distorted, like something coming from beyond the veil. He doesn't speak unless directly addressed. He doesn't blink when the family argues. And when the car gets struck by lightning, he doesn't even flinch. This Lurch is less butler and more of a mythic guide who ferries souls between worlds. Like Karen, the ferryman of the underworld, or the revenant, a soul returned to complete unfinished business. The Addams family, after all, are a collection of Gothic archetypes. Witches, mad scientists, necromancers, and tricksters. So why wouldn't they have their own bound spirit? What if Lurch wasn't hired, but rescued? Here's the theory that ties it all together. Long before the Addams family we know, there was another tragedy. In one interpretation, drawn from Charles Addams's early unpublished notes and later fan compendiums, the family may have saved Lurch's soul or body from death itself. Maybe he didn't just arrive at the mansion. Maybe he was brought back to it. Some say Gomez made a deal, a ritual in grief, or love, or both. Others say that Morticia, a known necromancer in the family's darker lore, called him back herself. In Addams family lore, Morticia, Wednesday, and Grandmama form what's often interpreted as the triple goddess trinity, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. 3 generations of women whose presence blurs the line between life and death. By the way, if you want a dedicated deep dive into that, let me know in the comments. Maybe that's how all of this ties together. The Addams women create life from death, and Lurch is their proof. Why he never leaves the estate. Why he answers the bell instantly. Why he's part of the mansion's rhythm rather than a separate being. He's not working for them. He's bound to them. A soul repaying a debt. One the Addamses never call a curse, only family. Lurch isn't trapped by chains or contracts. He's held by gratitude. And that's the darkest kind of servitude, the kind you choose. If every Addams has a secret, then Lurch's is the mansion itself. He doesn't just live in it. He is it. Every creak in the floorboards, every thunderclap, timed perfectly to a dramatic entrance. It's as though the house itself is alive, and Lurch is its heartbeat. In nearly every adaptation, his presence and the mansion's energy are inseparable. In the 1964 TV series, the organ scenes are key. Whenever Lurch sits at the harpsichord, the camera lingers as if the walls themselves are listening. Morticia once calls his playing soothing to the house, and when his harpsichord is taken away, strange phenomena erupt. Portraits tilt, doors slam, and even Thing seems unsettled. That's not a man having a tantrum. That's a house remembering its loss. There's an old folklore belief that ghosts communicate through sound, particularly music. In European Gothic traditions, the organ isn't just a church instrument, it's a voice for the dead. When Lurch plays, it isn't entertainment, it's remembrance. The dirges he performs are always melancholic, slow, funereal, reverent. He's not playing for the Addamses, he's playing for what came before them. And the family, ever respectful of the macabre, lets him. In this light, the organ becomes something more than decoration. It's the heart of the house, and Lurch is the only one who knows how to make it beat. Every note he plays isn't for applause. It's for the dead listening in the walls. Every generation reshapes the Addams family, but Lurch never changes. He doesn't need to. Across decades, he's evolved from joke to guardian to omen. He's not bound by time or tone. He is the tone. Every iteration of the Addams family borrows a piece of Lurch's silence, that deep Gothic calm beneath their chaos. He's the secret that keeps their world intact. And maybe that's the truth. Maybe Lurch isn't answering their call. Maybe they're answering his. They say every old house remembers the hands that built it, the footsteps that loved it, and the ones that never left. The Addams mansion hums with that kind of memory, not grief, but loyalty. Every flicker of light isn't something haunting the family, it's something guarding them. So next time you hear a bell ring in an empty room, don't ask who it's calling. Ask who's been waiting to answer. Let me know, who played your favorite version of Lurch? Ted Cassidy, Carl Struycken, or a different one entirely? If you like this video, you might also like my breakdown of the secret identity of the Addams family and why they'll never die. So go check it out. Thanks for watching.